Hello everyone, welcome back to Risha Education. So we were doing chapter 2 question series of Josephic Gallian, and this is the fifth part of this series because we have already done 20 questions in 4 parts, and now this is fifth part, and in this video also we will try to solve 5 questions depending upon the length of the video. So let's get started without any further delay. So what it says, an abstract algebra teacher, okay, an abstract algebra teacher intend to give a typist. So intend to give a typist a list of 9 integers. So he has given a list of 9 integers that form a group under multiplication modulo 91. Okay, now it's form a group under simple multiplication modulo 91 means we are taking the number and we are dividing it with 91. Whatever the remainder is there, we have to see whether it does belongs to or not. Now, instead, one of the 9 integers was inadvertently left out, means it was by mistaken left out, or the typist has left it by mistake, so that the list appeared as this one. So we have given total 8 numbers out there. 8 numbers, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he did not miss the letter identity. So he was smart. The typist was smart, so he didn't left this identity one. So he missed some other letters. Now, which integer was left out? So this incident is actually really happened for some reason. And now we have to find what is the integer left out. So whenever you see these types of question, you have to find some integer. Then what we have to do? We have to first see whether the closure is satisfied. Okay. So we have to see whether the closure is satisfied or not. So we will do one by one. So for the identity element, if you see 1, then 1 times any number do belongs to the set. I'm considering the set as S. So you cannot say by using identity element. So we have to see some other element. After identity, I have 9. So what I'm doing, I'm multiplying 9 with every number. And I'm seeing whether all the numbers do belongs to the set or not. Okay. So first of all, I multiplied 9 with 1. And I saw that yes, it does belongs. The 9 is there in the set. So 9 belongs to S. Again, when I multiplied 9 with 16, what happens? 9 times 16 gives 144. On dividing with 91 gives remainder 53. And you can see that 53 do belongs to the set S. Again, what I did, I multiplied 9 with 22. It gives 198 and the remainder is 16. 16 is also belonging to the set. Similarly, for 53, I got 22 and 22 belongs to the set S. But for the 9 times 74, when I'm doing, then it is giving 666, which giving 29 remainder, but 29 do not belongs to the set. So we are able to find the mistaken done by the typist by the mistake that he has done. So 29 is the number that we are looking for. And once we add the 29, our problems get sorted. So this is how you can see that the math is so interesting, that how beautifully the problem is becoming a question in a textbook. So this textbook is really awesome and I cannot tell you anything. Let's move on to the question number 22. We have a group with the property that for any XYZ in the group, we have XY equals to ZX, implies Y is equals to Z. So we have left-right cancellation. We can cancel these two. Okay. Then what we have to show? We have to show that G is abelian. That means for any XY, we have to show that XY is equals to YX. So how will we solve this? So in these type of questions, you have to find a basic trick or basic arrangement of the elements for G. So what arrangement here we are using? See, you have to use XY is equals to YX. So what happens? XY equals to YX you need. But you know that you can cancel these two X. So you can also use X here. So that when you cancel, because we know that XYX is equals to XYX in any group, right? But after applying this cancellation, what we can get is this 2 equals to this 2, because we are cancelling this X and this X. So what we get is XYX is equals to XY. And this is the condition for the group to be abelian, and hence we got our proof. We are done with the proof. So next move on to the question number 23. We have law of exponent for abelian groups. This is a very interesting law and very helpful for using in numerous of questions. How can you use this? It is for any integer. So what we will do this by the method of PMI, which is basically principle of mathematical induction. Why we are doing this? Because we are having an integer, or whenever we see any integer, natural number, or anything like this in exponent, power, or even with any number, natural number or integer, what we do, we use principle of mathematical induction. So what happens by this? We show anything for n is equals to 1, and we consider that the given statement is true for k. And then what we do, we prove it for k plus 1. So what happens after this? When it is equals to 1, so consider k is equals to 1, then it is true for 2. Now consider k is equals to 2, it is true for 3. And so on, it goes for the natural number. So again, what happens? This is true. This will be true for natural number, but we have to show it for integers. So for integer, what we can do, we are working on a group. So for negative integer, we can write it as minus n. And we know that AB inverse to the power n. Now AB inverse is B inverse, A inverse basically to the power n. And we know that B inverse and A inverse is again some element of group. So we can write it as x to y to the power n. Now this becomes the positive integer. Yes, positive integer or natural number. So we can use this definitely for proving all the integers. So we just have to show this much problem. For n equals to 1, for k we will consider, and for k plus 1 we will show. So let's get started with the question now. So we have, for n equals to 1, we have LHS equals to AB to the power 1, which is equals to AB. Now for RHS, we have A to the power 1, B to the power 1, which is again AB. So this is equal. So the statement given, so consider Pn as the statement. So AB to the power n equals to A to the power n, B to the power n. Okay, and the group is abelian. So since G is abelian, so this implies AB is equals to BA. So we will use this. So we are writing here. Okay, next. So we will consider, let PK be true. So we are considering it true for K. So let PK be true. So what will be the true statement? So AB to the power K is equals to A to the power K and B to the power K. Now we want to show for K plus 1. So let us write PK plus 1 as AB to the power K plus 1. So what we have to show is AB to the power K plus 1 is equals to A to the power K plus 1 and B to the power K plus 1. So let's use the group property and show this. We can write it as AB to the power K and AB. Okay. Now what we will use here is AB to the power K is true. So we are using A to the power K and B to the power K. We are doing similar way like we used to do in class 11 for PMI and mathematical inductions. So AB is equals to BA from here. So we can use it as well. Now by the associativity property, we can write something like this. So this will become A to the power K, B to the power K plus 1 and A. Now again, since the group is abelian and B to the power K plus 1 is again an element of the group, so we can apply abelian group property of abelian here, and we can write something like this. And again by the associativity, it will be like A to the power K times A and B to the power K plus 1 will be in the out. So A to the power K plus 1 and B to the power K plus 1. So the given statement Pn is true for all integers. We can write this. Okay. I hope you understand the concept of the PMI. Next, move on to the other part of the question, which says, is it also true for non-abelian groups? So it is not true for non-abelian groups. Why? Because I am giving you an example. Okay. So we have to show this for non-abelian groups. Is it true or not? So what we will do, consider D4 as a group. So G is equals to D4, dihedral group with 4 elements, or you can say symmetric group with 4 elements. Now I am considering A as rotation with 90 degree, and B I am considering as vertical reflection, and N I am considering as 3. Okay. Now what happens to AB? We have R90V, which is equals to D. Okay. Now we know that AB to the power 3 is equals to D3, which is equals to D. Now we will do A cube, B cube, which is equals to R90 cube and V cube. So which is equals to R90 cube is R270 and V cube is V itself. So when you do R270 and V, it gives you D prime. But D and D prime are not equal. Hence, it is not true for non-abelian groups. The next question 24 is Sock-Shoe property basically. So we have to draw an analogy between the statement this one. So between the statement this and the act of putting on and taking off your socks and shoes. So this is a very interesting question, and I'll show you what happens. Consider A as your sock. Okay, consider A as your socks. And B as your shoes. Now what happens? You wear socks. What is AB is basically you are wearing socks and then you are wearing shoes. Okay, means putting on your socks and putting on your shoes. Now inversion of AB inverse is basically you are undoing the work of putting on your socks and shoes. That means what do you do first for undoing the work that you have done? Like you first of all remove your shoes. First of all, you remove your shoes. So basically you inverse the work of the shoe that you have put, and then you remove your socks. Without removing shoes, you cannot remove your socks. So then you remove your socks, and that means that A inverse. So this is the analogy that it was asking. So what happens? You wear socks and shoes, and while inversing the process, means while taking off the socks and shoes, you first of all take out your shoes and then take off your socks. So this is what it ultimately does. Now find distinct non-identity elements A and B from non-abelian group. So we have to find one non-abelian group in which we have to consider two non-identity elements A and B. And the property that should satisfy is AB inverse is equals to A inverse and B inverse. Okay. So let us see the example. What I am considering here is A is equals to H and B is equals to V, and G that I am considering is D4 again. D4 gives a great example for every non-abelian group. Not only D4, Dn gives great example. We will see a lot with these. Okay. So what happens is AB is equals to HV, which is equals to R180 basically. Now what happens to AB inverse? It's basically R180 inverse. So which is equals to R180. Now we have to do A inverse and B inverse, which is equals to H inverse and V inverse, which is equals to H and V, which is equals to R180. Now you can see that this and this are equal. So we are able to find the example. Next example we have to find is in any group, we need to find. So it is asking that is it possible to have AB minus 2 not equals to B minus 2, A minus 2. So again, I'm considering an example. You can find your own example and then you can see that whether you are able to find it or not. But right now, I am giving you an example. Consider A is equals to R90 and B is equals to V. So if you find an example, also let me know in the comment or in the group where you feel it comfortable to be. So what happens to AB is basically D. and AB inverse 2 is basically D inverse whole square. So D inverse is D itself, so it will be D square, which is equals to R naught. Okay. Now what happens for, this is for AB inverse square. Now I have to find A minus 2, B minus 2 and A minus 2. So what happens? So B minus 2 is V minus 2 and A minus 2 is R90 minus 2. Okay. Now what happens? V minus 2 is basically V inverse whole square and this is R90 inverse whole square. Now V inverse is V square and R90 inverse is R270 whole square, which is equals to V square is R0 and this is R180 and this is equals to R180. Now these two are not equal and we are able to find one of the example. Okay. Now what it is saying, what would be an appropriate name? So what would be an appropriate name for the group property ABC whole inverse? Like it is called SOXU property, like we saw right now was SOXU property for 2. SOXU property. But for 3, we have another thing, like in a colder region or in something like very icy region, you have seen people wearing boots like this. Okay. So people do wear boots like this. And what happens if for these boots, why I have taken the example and the pictures of these boots? Because what happens, we first of all wear socks. First of all, we wear socks, and then we wear shoes, and then we wear boots. Okay. So after this, what happened? So if you have to take it out, consider this A, B, and C. So we used to wear in order this. But if we want to inverse the process, we have to first take out our boots first, then shoes first, shoes in second, and then shoes, socks in last. So this is how you can consider this property as sock, shoe, boot properties. Okay, I hope this was an interesting question for you to learn something new and different, name or something of the any property. So next move on to the 25 question. We have proved that a group G is abelian. So we have to show that G is abelian when so if and only if, so we have to prove both the ways. First of all, we have to prove a necessary part and then sufficient part. So it says that AB whole inverse is equals to A inverse B inverse. So we will prove in 2 different ways. First of all, we will consider G is abelian. Okay, this is what we are considering. So G is abelian means AB is equals to BA. And here we are considering that AB inverse is equals to A inverse B inverse. Okay, so here we have to prove this and here we have to prove this. Now when AB is equals to BA, we have to show that AB inverse is equals to A inverse B inverse. But we know that AB is equals to BA, so we can write it as BA inverse. And by the SOX properties, what we can write it as A inverse B inverse. So we showed AB whole inverse is equals to A inverse B inverse. So we showed. Now we have considered AB whole inverse equals to A inverse B inverse. Now we have to show that AB is equals to BA. Okay. Now from the SOX property, we know that AB inverse is equals to B inverse A inverse. So from here and here we can write A inverse B inverse is equals to B inverse A inverse. Now what I will do, I will multiply by A towards my left. Okay, in left. So what this become is A inverse, B inverse is equals to A, B inverse, A inverse. So these two will give you identity and it will become B inverse is equals to A, B inverse, A inverse. Now again, I will multiply by A in my right. Okay, in right, if I multiply, this will be like B inverse A and this will be like A. So this will give you B inverse A is equals to A B inverse. Now what happens again? I will multiply to my left by B. So okay, B to left. I am not writing everything, but just giving you hint. So this will be BB inverse A is equals to BA B inverse. So this will give you A is equals to BA. B inverse. Now multiply B to right. So this will give you AB is equals to BA, B inverse B. So ultimately AB is equals to B and A. Hence group is abelian. So we proved what we required, and hence we came to the end of this video. So for the next part, stay tuned. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, share with your friends. You can join our group of Galleon. Will be coming with innumerous amounts of questions and concepts. And thanks for watching.